Let's get this. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to our Cruise and Travel Expo live travel talk with me, Michael Graham at MGA Travel. I'd love to welcome our business development manager, Kathy Brock with AmaWaterways. Hi, Kathy. So we're just here at the top of the hour, and we're starting to see some logins coming in right now. And as they come in, we're going to get started. And since we're on time, I'm ready to go when you are, Kathy. We're talking about our 2022 November of 2022 trip, river cruise and land to Southeast Asia. And Kathy, I've been to all 7 continents, but I have not been to Vietnam or Cambodia. So Kathy has, and not only that, she's been there on an AmaWaterways river cruise. So Kathy, tell us all about this trip, please.
Oh, so happy to do so on this one. Let me tell you, this is probably the most incredible trip I have ever made. And oh, by the way, I've done Africa twice. Now I have to explain that when we first started offering this destination about 12 years ago, I had some real reservations about it. I read something that explained my reservations, and that is people look at Vietnam one of 2 ways: Vietnam the country or Vietnam the war. My head was actually on the war side. I did not realize Vietnam is the fastest growing economy in the world. I mean, that's a big deal. But the really big deal is that 65% of the population of that country is under 45 years of age. So they don't remember what we do. So I did this trip 6 years ago from 7 days from now. I got this string bracelet in Angkor Wat where a monk chanted a blessing while he put that string bracelet on my wrist. And I have to tell you, 2 nights ago, that bracelet finally fell off. So I don't know if I still have that Buddhist blessing, but I certainly hope so. Ama, I'm sure you've heard my song and dance before, but you know, Ama means love. Amo, Amas, Amat, that's where we love the rivers and we love Ama family members. When you sail with us, you become a member of the Ama family. So of course, we've got all the fabulous rivers in Europe: the Rhine, the Main, the Danube, the Moselle. Oh, the lovely little Moselle. The rivers in France: the Seine, Normandy, the Saône and the Rhône, Provence and Burgundy, Bordeaux, wine and more wine. And I believe Michael has an adventure planned in 2021 for fabulous Portugal. Portugal on the Douro River, the oldest wine region in the world, probably the most beautiful scenery you will see anywhere on any rivers. That one's on my list. Haven't done it yet. Maybe I'll have to go with y'all. This summarizes always, whether you're in Southeast Asia, whether you're in Africa, whether in Egypt, it's true. Rivers, oceans will take you to a country, but only rivers are going to take you through them. You're typically on a big ship going to dock in a major port. You're going to get off the ship by tender or walk off the gangway, and you're going to have 4 or 5 hours in that port. Then you're going back to the ship. Whereas river cruising is actually very immersive no matter where you are. So you really experience the art, the architecture, the culture, the cuisine, no matter where you are. Family owned and operated, 18 years old as of this past July 1. And it's been amazing. I was the first rep to join them in 2006. I sailed with Rudy and Christine for New Year's Eve of 2005, fell in love with river cruising. At that time, I mean, it wasn't until halfway through 2006 that we got our first ship. So it's been quite a ride, and we are thrilled to still be offering our product to everyone. And what we like to say is we want to show you the world, and we can do it one river at a time. So, Cambodia and Vietnam. I think this trip was the most astounding. It was the most powerful. And I promise you, you talk to anyone that has done this adventure, and they will all use the same words: life-changing. It is indeed a whole different culture. And if you've got Thailand or someplace like that on your list, please consider Cambodia and Vietnam. The Buddhist culture is very gracious. It's welcoming. It's extremely cheerful. It's, well, for instance, the Buddhist culture does not allow begging. So if children are running along beside your tuk-tuk or your rickshaw, it's just speak English and say hello, hello, and practice their English with you. It's not to beg. We do visit a couple schools when we're in these two countries, especially in Cambodia. We like to give back to the country that we're visiting, and we encourage our guests to bring school supplies. I simply raided Dollar General about once a week, just gathered markers, crayons, coloring books, and all that sort of thing. Had about 4 bags of these goodies in my suitcase. And when we would go to visit a school, we would give those school supplies to the teachers so they could share them. Cambodia does not have compulsory education, so this is part of our effort to give back. You know, you're going to see these typical pictures, and the water lilies are giant. They really do wear these hats. I meant to bring mine downstairs. I'm sorry. I do have one of these, and I have been known to work in my yard wearing it. And I cannot tell you how embarrassed that makes my children, but that's okay. These things are the lightest hats you have ever put on in your entire life. So it does make sense of why they wear them in this beautiful culture. Now, we have a 7-night cruise on the Mekong. We also have land portions at each end. I started up in Hanoi. I flew from Atlanta to Seoul, Korea. It's a long flight. And then from Seoul to Hanoi. Spent a few nights in Hanoi, went out for a night on Halong Bay, which is, there's 2 places on this trip that you're going to reach over and actually pinch yourself to believe you're there. One of them is Halong Bay, the other one is Angkor Wat. Then we flew down to Siem Reap. We spent 3 nights in the fabulous Sofitel Hotel in Siem Reap. We went out for sunrise over Angkor Wat. We went for sunrise. We went to Angkor Thom, just fabulous. Then we did the 7-night cruise, and I even extended for a couple nights in Saigon. And after the first few hours, I loved Saigon. So there's only one negative with this destination, and that is it is hot and it is humid. My correlation is, if you can think about Charleston in August, you're going to be very, very close. My favorite description of Charleston in August was written by the fabulous Low Country author, Pat Conroy, with one of his first books called The Lords of Discipline. He described August in Charleston as walking through wet gauze. That pretty much nails it. So the biggest plus I can tell you about this ship is it has great air conditioning. Everybody, again, has their own thermostatically controlled cabins, and it's absolutely going to be comfortable as can be. You need really, really good walking shoes. You need shoes that can slip on and slip off, because when we visit the Buddhist temples, you will leave your shoes by the door and nobody takes your shoes. We also will tell you the night before if we're going to a temple, because we might need shorts that will cover your knees. Otherwise, it's going to be a very casual, comfortable itinerary. 15 nights. I don't know how many of you are going to do the whole land portion. I decided I was going to go all this way. I probably won't be going back, although I'm really tempted to go with y'all. I was going to do the whole thing. So I really did. I think I was gone a total of 17 days. Longest trip I've had in a long, long time. Totally worth it. Wouldn't trade it for the world. Now, one of the things that Rudy, our owner architect, does is he designs the interior of the ships like the destination where you are. A lot of the river cruise lines duplicate an American luxury hotel room or a luxury lobby of a hotel when you're inside the ship. We don't. We have used the indigenous woods of the region, and you can see this is very much of a French colonial decor. Every single cabin, this is the smallest, 251 square feet. They all have these twin balconies. True confession time, I opened the door to that balcony, I stepped out one time, and I stepped right back in. But there was another great place to hang out besides your balcony. So I love the interior of this ship. It's just so special. There are some larger cabins and suites too, but typically with AMA, you would look for a keyboard under this television to have internet access, but bear in mind, many times we're out in the middle of the river, so you're not going to have internet access quite the way we do in Europe. So we do have some suites, two of them are over 500 square feet. The main lounge is the heart of the ship, always on all of our ships, the lounge is the heart. But even more so here, because this is the gathering place. This is where the cruise manager will outline the itinerary for each day. There's always an open bar here. It's again, that French colonial decor. This is also where we use local guides. And we have a different guide in Cambodia and Vietnam, because those are their regulations. So as the guides who sailed with us many days, so it's not like most river cruises where you hop off the ship and you have a different guide every day. All of your ports in Cambodia, you're going to have the same guide. All of your ports in Vietnam, you will have the same guide. Now, this is where the guides tell their stories, which is so fascinating. Of course, both of our guides were raised by single mothers. Our Vietnamese guide and cruise manager were actually raised by a single mom because they lost the dad in the Vietnam War. My favorite guide, who was from Cambodia, has this wonderful story. He was raised by a single mom. Well, you know, I think what happened after the Vietnam conflict is we were so zoned out. We might not have paid attention to what was still going on over there. And the Vietnam War was followed by the Pol Pot, or the Khmer Rouge regime that took over Cambodia. Now, the Khmer Rouge was run by this guy named Pol Pot. And if you think Fidel Castro was bad, you ain't seen nothing yet until you've seen Pol Pot. He decided he was going to return this country to the agrarian civilization. So when he took over Phnom Penh, the capital, within 5 days, he emptied that city. Every single person, whether they were ambulatory, whether they were on their deathbed, whether they were sick, they were all sent out into the country. Also, in the first 2 weeks of his regime, he killed every doctor, every lawyer, and every teacher in that country. So hence The Killing Fields, the movie, which if you're going to put this on the list, you might want to go back and watch that. But Finn, an interesting name for a Cambodian, Finn had a wonderful story. and he was raised by a single mom, and he used to work in a restaurant in Phnom Penh. And he worked there for quite some time, and he had this British gentleman who always came into the restaurant when he traveled to Phnom Penh, and he always sat in Finn's section. He got to know Finn. He asked Finn if Finn would take him home to meet his mother. Finn took Michael home with him. Michael met his mother and proceeded to pay for Finn's education through high school and then through college, which is why Finn is now a guide. I mean, just the most incredible stories you can imagine. The ship does have the specialty restaurant, just like we do on all of our European ships. We also have the fitness center, which is extremely well air conditioned, thank goodness. There's the hangout place. This is a beautiful rooftop bar with a swimming pool. And here's where you can watch sunrises and sunsets over the Mekong. Now, the food on this ship is also fabulous. We'll have the standard American cuisine. We'll also have the regional cuisine. And we have a regional, what we call Asian Action Station, all 3 meals a day. That is an Asian chef standing in front of this whole array of ingredients, and you just advise which ingredients you want, and they will be combined either in a stir fry or that fabulous soup that I adore. It looks like the word pho, but they pronounce it pho, and they even have pho for breakfast. So you can do that 3 meals a day. The SOFITEL Legend Hotel, the Metropole in Hanoi, absolutely incredible hotel here. When that summit was held about maybe a year ago, this is the hotel where all of the meetings and ceremonies were held. The SOFITEL Legend Grand Metropole, beautiful decor, fabulous bathrooms here as well. Then we're going to go out to Halong Bay. We're going to spend a night on Halong Bay. Now, I just read something this morning that really distresses me because it said that they're building an intercontinental hotel in Halong Bay. And I just wonder if it isn't going to be one of those things that really spoils some of this destination. Now, this is the area that has 1,600 of these limestone islands that you sail through. And our night will be spent on, they no longer call them a junk. I love that name. But anyway, the Paradise Elegance will be your night here. Absolutely extravagant, comfortable, luxury accommodations here, and also your fabulous food. Now, when we flew down from, you had to go back to the Hanoi airport to fly to Siem Reap. I spent 3 nights in this hotel. It's a Sofitel in Siem Reap. It is now, I have to tell you, my favorite hotel in the entire world. There are the lagoons here. There are the lily pads floating. The interior of the public areas, the interior of the rooms. They even have little scented oil pots at the doorway in every room, or coming in from outside when you enter, and you're going to get the wonderful essence of that scent. So again, luxury accommodation here. Again, this indigenous woods of the region, that decor of where you are. Oh, and I have to tell you, laundry services over here are just amazingly inexpensive. I did have some laundry done there in Siem Reap, and it came in the most beautiful decorative box. I mean, a beautiful, looked like a gift box. That was my laundry. It was amazing. So, and on the other end, if you extend for a night or two in Saigon, that again will be a wonderful Sofitel hotel located in the heart of the city. Now, when I did the extension in Saigon, I actually signed up for a cooking class. So it was that or go to the War and Remembrance Museum, and I really didn't want to do that. Totally propaganda in that. So I did the cooking class. The chef went with us to the Central Market. Now, all of the markets are just absolutely amazing. But we did the shopping with the chef. Then we went back to the cooking school. We fixed the lunch. And of course, we ate the lunch and then walked back to our hotel. Again, the 2 nights in Ho Chi Minh City, actually, the only thing they call Ho Chi Minh City is the airport. The locals still call it Saigon. But again, that Sofitel is going to be totally luxury. Now, the mighty, mighty Mekong, second largest, longest river in the entire world, second only to the Nile. It is seasonal. So the Mekong is the lifeblood of both of these countries, and it rises and falls with the season. So when it's a wet season, the flooding comes in. Of course, all the homes have to be up on stilts. So you actually have 2 seasons that you can go to this area. You have the wet season, which is like August through, not sure if it goes into November. And then you have the dry season going into January. Wet season means everything is green and lush and flooded. And the dry season means everything is kind of dried and brown. Angkor Wat. Angkor Wat is be still my heart, honest to goodness. We went out for sunrise over this Angkor Wat. At one time, the Angkor area was home to over 1 million people. This is the largest UNESCO World Heritage Site in the world. They are still discovering places within the Angkor area. This one might remind you of it. Think the movie was Tomb Raiders. This is Angkor Thom, but temples, elephants, banyan trees. That's what these trees are called. They just seem to take over everything. Just incredible architecture here. You will spend a whole day and a night, I believe, in Phnom Penh. You will go to the Royal Palace where everything is gold. You've got this gorgeous architecture here. Looks straight out of the movie. If anybody remembers, I'm dating myself, The King and I, the temples of Siam. You'll do some local things too. We might give you a TRISHAW ride with the ox carts. Now, do not stress yourself. These cows always look like this. These cows are not starving to death. At first glance, you'd have to wonder, but it is the breed of cow that looks like this. So very, very special. Yeah, I know, this is just a funny picture because everything's on the Mekong. This would be what rush hour looks like. Actually, this is one of the floating markets. We don't go to this when this is a local thing, but you'll see every one of these vessels has fresh produce. So people paddle up to one and do their shopping and then go back home. So it's very different culture. We're going to experience lots of things, including going to a Buddhist monastery where you will sit and receive a Buddhist blessing. These beautiful orange robes that the Buddhist monks wear. It's most colorful and amazing and special. We really honor the culture that we're visiting. For instance, when we launched the AMADARA, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I knew when she was launching and I kept waiting for something to come up on our website or on a Facebook page about the christening for the AMADARA. 3 or 4 days later, I saw a statement from Rudy. Rudy said, this is a Buddhist culture. It really would not have been appropriate for us to do a christening. So we simply launched the vessel. So again, when you go to a destination, what makes a difference? It's the people, it's the food, it's the culture. It's just something so eye-opening. There's even a water puppet show. There's a couple of them. There's one in Saigon and there's one in Hanoi too. Again, going back thousands of years for their culture. The street life in Hanoi and in Saigon, you know, anybody been to Amsterdam? Amsterdam must have 1 million bicycles, right? You don't step off the curb without looking for the ding, 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 ding of the bicycle coming. Well, here it's motorbikes. I think in all of Hanoi, I think I saw one stoplight. It's just an amazing experience. Trying to cross a street in Saigon or Hanoi is sort of like walking the streets of New York City, and you've got the right of way and you just step out and by George, that taxi driver is going to stop. So the markets that you're going to see both in the local villages and of course in Saigon, it's all this beautiful fresh produce. These people shop every single day. The fish is very fresh. The fish is live when it is in the market. Some of the very, very special things, for instance, I saw a walking fish. It is a breed of fish that has fins that almost operate when it wants to move from one canal to the other. It can actually walk across that to that other canal. Just like I say, incredible culture here. And yes, Gary Murphy does get very adventuresome. They do have fried tarantulas. I love, the best description I've heard came from Rudy. He described fried tarantulas as very hairy. But again, we'll have the regional cuisine on the ship as well. But again, wonderful photo ops and everything. But again, like I say, this is life on a river, truly the lifeblood of these countries. It's an incredible, peaceful, incredible culture. And I cannot encourage you enough to consider this adventure. A little more strenuous or tasking than the usual river cruise, and that's simply because the heat and humidity. Also, when we arrive in some of these little villages, there's not a dock where we put a big gangway down. There's a little bitty gangway. But I had a gentleman on mine, he was extended family, and he was actually on a walker. And I'm telling you, that man didn't miss a thing. Just absolutely fabulous. Since you attended this virtual event, we can provide a $100 discount on anything that's deposited. Of course, with AMA, the deposit is simply $400, and then there's nothing else due until 90 days from the sailing. So you're not putting a huge amount of money out there. I mean, this trip is not till November of 2022. I believe Michael's trip to Portugal is in the spring of 2021. So if you put the deposit on that sailing, we would not have to pay that balance until 90 days out from that sailing date. So I do have my quotes, but I don't know if you need them.
Well, we always like your quotes. Let's hear them, Kathy. They're the best.
Well, the first one comes from Buddha, and like I say, I love the quote, but the fact that it's attributed to Buddha, I think just means even more to me. And Buddha said it best when he said, the trouble is, you know, you really think you have time. You really think you're always going to feel this good. You really think you're going to be able to travel with your kids, your grandkids, your nieces, your nephews forever. How many of us know somebody who thought they had time and they didn't? So you can always make more money. You can't always make more memories, and nothing makes memories better than travel. We do have some kids, some preteens and kids that have gone on this trip, and they were just absolutely blown away by the whole experience. I can't wait to take my grandkids. I don't think we're doing this one. I think we're going to do the Christmas markets before we do this one. But Mr. Carson from Downton Abbey said it best when he said, it's true. The business of life really is the acquisition of memories. And tell me something that creates more memories than travel. So I think Michael has some stuff to share with us too.
I do, but first of all, thank you very much, Kathy. I really appreciate it. You always have wonderful presentations, and we always learn more than we expected to. So thank you very much.
Did I make you want to go?
I do, yeah. I want to go.
There you go.
And I want to thank everybody that's been on the call also, all of our attendees. If you have any questions you want answered while we're on, just type them into the little chat box. Click that little chat button down at the bottom. I put a link in there that puts a link right to our Riches of the Mekong trip. And I want to note that Kathy referred to them as optional extensions, but we've already included pre and post in the price.
Wonderful.
We know that when we fly all the way over to Southeast Asia, we might as well do everything, right?
Can you imagine coming back and saying, gosh, I missed that?
So we will be doing all of the things that you talked about, and there's an actual full itinerary on that link. You can go to yearlytrip.com as a fast way of getting there. It has all the information. And I did want to share, although I have not been on this trip, I have been on AmaWaterways. So I wanted to give you a little hint of what that experience might be. Let's see here. Can everybody see this Paris and Normandy?
Oh, be still my heart.
So we went from Paris to Normandy. This was our same Outlander trip that this will be. And Outlander is just the name of our traveling group. We traveled together. There's two rules. It is no grumpy travelers, and number two, no talking about politics while you're on holiday. Pretty easy, right? So I'm just going to go over a quick couple of pictures. This is the AMALIRA. This is the ship we were on. And you start in Paris, and you can see it's not too bad of a location where you can put it in position with the Eiffel Tower right there. And that's one thing I love about AMA is they always have excellent docking locations. Brenda, one of our travelers. This was Marcia, who was our her cruise director. What'd you say, Kathy?
We're not seeing the picture of the ship.
Oh, you're not?
All I'm seeing is the logo, Paris, Normandy, takethetrip.com.
Okay, hold on. Maybe it's delayed.
Check with the others.
You guys see the picture of the ship? Well.
We're all muted.
Okay, hold on one second. Let's see here. You still see the logo, Kathy?
Yep.
All right, hang on. Let's see here.
I can't wait to get back to real life.
I know exactly. All right, let me try.
Ah, there it is.
Okay, so here's the ship, and as you can see, very close to the Eiffel Tower, the lovely AMALIRA. And I'm going to change pictures, and you tell me if it changes for you too.
Bingo.
Okay, great. That's Brenda standing in front of the Eiffel Tower, and this is our cruise director, Marcia, and she, you know, the cruise directors really make or break these trips, as well as the guides you mentioned, and she does an outstanding job. She made our wall of fame over here of cruise directors. Of course, we went to Normandy, but you get right in the heart of everything. We were on the beaches of Normandy. Hopefully these pictures are going through.
They are. They're beautiful.
This cathedral in Rouen, France, and they were projecting onto it a live video. It was really, really cool. Monet's Gardens. And then coming back on the ship, you know, they bring the entertainment. AmaWaterways brings the entertainment right to you. I was right in front of this lady who was an absolutely stunning singer and performer. We always have a really good time with our group. You always have someone to sit down with and have a cocktail with. And there's always something to see on the river from the comfort of your cabin or in the dining room. The service on board was excellent, as were the food. We had a happy hour once a day, and pedophores and little appetizers. And the staff was unbelievable. They really were. This is a picture of our group at the end, and I can tell you, this is the captain of the ship. He saw us doing our group picture, so he came over to kind of goof off with us. But that is some people having the time of their lives, and that's what happens when you travel in our groups. And that is something that also AmaWaterways has delivered to us. So I thank Ama for that, for our Outlander Society. And I look forward to our 2 AmaWaterways trips coming up. The one to Portugal and Spain in April of next year, and also the big one, the riches of the Mekong. And you've really explained it well. So if anybody has any questions for me or Kathy, you can put it in that chat box, or you can put it in the Q&A box, or you can just send me an email. Hopefully all that came through. I haven't got any other questions in here, so we're going to honor everybody's time and let you go. But we are recording this, so I will send out an email to the attendees with the recording. You can share it with someone. We'll have it posted. And again, send me your questions or let me know how I can help you find out more about this trip. And thanks for being here. And Kathy, thank you very much, as always, for a wonderful presentation and all you do. And your
My pleasure. If I can convince anyone to do this adventure, it will make my day, because it's just so incredibly special.
I can't wait for it. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Let me know if we can help you. Shoot me an email.
Thank you. Have a beautiful evening.
Bye.